Hello everyone, welcome to Scratch Online Workshop. In this video we'll see how to log into Scratch and possibly create our first Scratch program. So without further ado, let's get started. So I'm here on scratch.mit.edu. I'm going to go to sign in. If you do not know how to create the username and password, please see the prior video. If you have already created a username and password, please enter the same and click sign in. And once you do that, you're actually brought to this web page here on scratch.mit.edu, which is what I'm calling as the dashboard or the home page. So before you can do anything with Scratch, you need to create a project, and that's where you would assemble your program and you would build something fun and interesting. So what you could do is click on this create button here on the left hand top corner, and once you do that, your first project would be created, and this is the editor where you would really write your programs and assemble them, test them, and finally see it all in action. So this editor is quite powerful, but it is also intimidating because there is a lot going on there, and especially if you're a beginner and if you're starting off with programming, a lot of it could be confusing. So Scratch offers two flavors to write your programs. One is you can be online just the way I am on scratch.mit.edu. This is Scratch 3.0 version that I'm running on, and the other option is you can actually download the tool offline and you can run it completely local to your machine. So for these set of videos that I'm talking about, I'll be strictly restricting myself to the online version simply because it's just convenient, and there are some subtle differences between the online and the offline version. So when you look at the editor, right, there is quite a lot going on. The most obvious one is you might recognize this Scratch cat. It's a sprite. And what are sprites? Sprites are nothing but characters, and you can add many different characters which are already part of the Scratch library, or you can go ahead and create a few sprites yourself. So on the left hand side, you see a lot of things going on here. There are three tabs here, one called the code, and there is the costumes, and there are the sounds. And under the code, right, you have quite a lot of blocks here. By the way, Scratch is a block programming language where everything that you write as a program is using blocks such as these, and they stack one on top of each other, and different blocks have different functions, and we'll go through them shortly. So the things that you need to be aware of if you're an absolute beginner is this is the editor, and these are the code blocks. You have the costumes. We'll talk about what costumes are in a second. And you have the sound library, and you can add and remove sound and the whole 9 yards. And on the right hand side of your editor, you have the stage area. What is a stage? Stage is really the place where you would view your program in action. Once you have assembled your program and you have made something really fun and exciting, this is where you would test your program. And you can add different sprites here. This is how you can go choose a sprite, and you can also add a backdrop. A backdrop is nothing but a scene or a setting where your sprites all come in action and they all start to interact. So let's go ahead and add a sprite just to show you what this looks like. So you can click on choose a sprite, and let's say I like something in food. I'm going to pick a strawberry for no good reason. So this is how I can add a sprite. You can change the size of the sprite by changing a number here. It became a bigger strawberry, or I can make it a smaller strawberry, or I can go back to its original size. Same with a backdrop. I can add a new backdrop by choosing one from the library. Let me use the blue sky, again for no good reason. Now your sprites are in a much better setting. For some reason this looks so much better than the white background. And if you wish, you can also, you know, create your own sprite. So with your backdrop, by clicking on the paintbrush icon, you'll be taken to the paint editor, where you can actually write up, or you can paint, you can do anything that you wish to create your own backdrop and sprite. And if you wish, you can also upload a sprite. Let's say you have a nice looking character picture saved up on your computer, you can upload it here, and that becomes your sprite. So with your backdrop. So the best way to learn Scratch, or for that matter any programming language, is to start doing things um, things just get your hands wet. And that's probably the best way in which you can actually start to learn how Scratch works. So let's do a quick little program. So everything in Scratch, typically begins with the green flag clicked. So what that means is, by clicking the green flag, you're actually starting your program. And under the code blocks, especially under the events, you'll see something called as a green flag clicked. So you can drag that block here. I'm using the magnifying glass to make it look a little easier for you to view. And when I click this, nothing really happens. But let's go under the motion block. As the name says, these blocks have all got to do something with moving a sprite. So let me drag this move block which says move 10 steps. So this is your first little program. So what this means is, you're saying, hey Scratch, when I click the green flag, I want my sprite to move 10 steps. So let's go ahead and click this. I don't know if you really noticed, but the Scratch cat moved 10 steps. So how about we make it go back, right? So what I can do is keep dragging any of the other blocks and stacking it together to make it a new program. So here I'm going to use negative numbers to indicate that the Scratch cat in this instance should move 10 steps forward and again move 10 steps back. So when I click this, nothing really happened. The reason is, it happened so quick that the Scratch cat moved forward and it also moved backward. So to make it a little more obvious, what I can do is, I can go to the controls, and there is something called as a wait block. I can drag this and insert it between the two blocks. So this is how you can assemble blocks. You can actually virtually move them around. You can insert it, you can delete it, you can do all the good stuff. So here, now I'm asking the Scratch cat to move 10 steps, wait for a second, and then move 10 steps back. So if I were to click this, so it actually moved forward and it came back. How about we make this do repeatedly, so that it's more exciting and there is some fun element to this. In order to do that, it's actually very simple. If you go under the control block, there is something called as a forever. As the name says, this is going to let the blocks of code run forever, and whatever you ask the blocks to do. So what I mean by that is, I'm going to drag this forever, and it just snugly fit in, and all these blocks automatically moved within the forever. And what this means is, it's going to move 10 steps, wait for a second, move 10 steps back, and repeat this forever. So let's go ahead and click the green flag. Oh, there is a little bit of a jitter here. You see how the Scratch cat moves forward, moves back, and then there's a jitter. The reason is, there is not enough weight between the times it moved back and it restarts the whole cycle. So all we need to fix this problem is to go ahead and add another wait block. Now if I were to click this, it's much better. And I have been clicking the blocks directly, but a better way to do that would be to use the full screen mode, or you can directly click on the green flag here just above the stage area. So let me go full screen and I can click the green flag. So here it's much better. The cat is moving 10 steps forward, waiting for a second, moving 10 steps back, waiting for a second, and then the whole cycle repeats. And it's going to do this forever. So there you go. This is really your first Scratch program, and you learned just a little bit about the blocks, and in particular about the motion block and how to create your project. If I want to end the program, I can click on the stop sign, the red octagon, and it stops the program. And if I want to start it again, I can click on the green flag and I'm stopping it again. Now I can click on this icon here to go back into my editor, and my program is all there. My sprite is in its place, and there you go. That's your first Scratch program. Before you exit, it's always actually the very first thing that we should have done is to save the project with a good name. I'm just going to call it Part-02, and your Scratch project is saved. Hope you like this. Hope you found this interesting and fun, and you stay along, and we'll learn more about Scratch in the next set of videos. Thank you so much. Keep learning. Have fun.